If you recall, I made a short nearly a year ago calling out Linux Experiment over his money complaints. Well, imagine my surprise when I received a notification for a comment left by Linux Experiment himself. Before I start responding to his comment, I would like to thank Linux Experiment for his response to my criticism. Unlike some channels that are too afraid to engage me, especially on a platform where they can't block me from responding. So for that, I commend Linux Experiment. Before we dive into my response, let's take a look at my original video for reference.
But the people creating the content on these platforms, the videos, the podcasts, the articles, they're not making money from them. At best, some people will donate, and I can confirm I have some Patreon signups from PeerTube and some PayPal donations from PeerTube as well. But as much as I appreciate all the support, this is not nearly enough to allow me to just make a living off of donations. If I had to only rely on donations, I simply would have to stop making videos. I would have to go and get a regular job to pay my bills.
Now let's go to Linux Experiment's comment. I'll be breaking down my response in pieces, but here's the entire comment for those who want to fully read it beforehand.
Yes, there is clearly no value from compiling news from hundreds of sources and giving my opinions on what I considered important. News aggregation has always been stupid, I guess. No value whatsoever in saving people time.
This is where the fun begins.
I never said news aggregation was stupid. In fact, I definitely agree that it's very important. However, you're nothing special or unique. YouTube is already filled with channels that do exactly that. Part of your problem is thinking that you are unique and therefore should be paid handsomely for it. If you're not offering something unique or uncommon, fewer people are going to give you their money. The fact you're choosing to be a news channel while whining about ad revenue only shows how short-sighted your vision was. If anyone deserves a bigger chunk of ad revenue, it's the original news outlet and article authors. Your regurgitation of someone else's hard work is lower on the totem pole.
No value either in testing out desktops and distros and showing the new features in action. No one would ever want to know what things look like before using them. That's why no YouTube channel reviewing products does well, probably. And my channel definitely never includes anything else. No opinions, no analysis, no tips or help or tutorials, not even the very video that was used to make this nice little short.
Again, we've got plenty of channels already offering that type of content. Your contributions are appreciated, but once again, you're not offering anything incredibly unique or special. We've got channels like DistroTube, Chris Titus Tech, Switch to Linux, 9to5 Linux, TechHut, Learn Linux TV, etc. And guess what? All of those channels perform distro reviews and offer general computing tips. Your channel is not that special. If it suddenly disappeared, the world would still continue to move forward.
YouTube as a full-time job is also so dumb that no one would ever do it, and no one has ever built a business out of it, not even me, who's been doing exactly that for 6 years now. It's exactly like cryptocurrencies, because ad rates and views fluctuate wildly every day. Everyone knows that.
Making YouTube a full-time job is a stupid idea. By making it your only job, making money becomes the priority. Even if it means compromising your content or morals. It's no longer putting out videos because they're important. It's about racking up viewers to make that paycheck by any means necessary. At least a day job would preserve the focus of why you make videos while also giving you that much-needed disconnect to avoid burnout. You're not carefully crafting your thumbnails or video titles for creative purposes. You're trying to maximize viewership and trying to game YouTube's algorithm. Stop trying to paint it as anything else. As for crypto, viewership, and ad rates, what's really sad and disappointing is that you know how volatile all of those things are. And yet you still have the nerve to whine about things not going your way, rather than trying different approaches. What you're really upset about is that your gravy train isn't what it once was, and now you have to put in a bit more effort.
It's definitely very stupid to try and do something you love as a job until it doesn't work anymore, and then move on to another thing. People should always just do the safe thing.
And yet you're failing to grasp your own advice. You're failing to recognize and accept the category of content you're currently in. Education and awareness content has been predominantly free and open to everyone. Just like tech lore, the new oil, and privacy guides, you're upset that you can't monetize education and awareness. It's like trying to put emergency alerts behind a paywall, and you guys are just mad that nobody is willing to pay for the ability to receive them. What's worse is that you're also offering generic merch that has nothing to do with tech and that nearly every YouTuber is also doing. If you're so confident of yourself and your content, then maybe you should put your tutorials behind a paywall. If your tutorials are so incredibly awesome, people will flood your Patreon with subscriptions, right? I am not the one to blame for your laziness, and neither is your audience. You've been doing YouTube for 6 years. You should know better.